Assalamualaikum students, how are you? I hope you are well because you are at home and safely you are studying, you are watching videos and you are attending your online classes. Let's start our today's class. Today I'll take your science class, the last part of chapter 7. Okay, properties of matter and external effect. So let's start our today's class. So you have to open page 56, page 45, page 55. So here write page 55. Of your book, and here you will find a picture of such picture, the picture of a street lamp, the picture of the tripod and test tube, beaker, a thermometer, etc. So what is this page is about? First I draw here the picture, then I am talking about so here it is the picture of beaker, and here is the speed lamp, burning. Okay, so it is creating heat here. So this is the picture. So this picture shows that a spirit lamp is providing heat to a beaker, and here the liquid is become heated. It is become boiled. Okay, and a thermometer. This is a thermometer. It is showing the reading of the temperature. Okay, so it is a stand. So determination of melting point. So it is the picture of determination melting point. Okay, so what is melting point? It is the first question. So here I have described about melting point. First I give the definition. What is melting point? The temperature at which solid begins to melt. Solid begins to melt means if you provide proper heat, if you provide enough heat, then any solid would be melted. For example, this is a marker, it is made by plastic. So if you provide heat or if you hold it on the flame, then it started to melt. Okay, it will transform into its properties like melted rubber or plastic. Okay, so it is said that and it is proved that if you provide proper heat to iron, even it will be melted. And if you go to a steel mill, what do? They melt this iron by adding heat, and iron becomes liquid there, and they pour it in a shape, in different shape, to give it a form as they like, okay, as they need. They made rod, they made iron made plate and some other things by melted iron. But before that, they melt the solid iron into liquid. So in our book, it is written there that the melting point of wax means which you know as candle, mom. In Bangla it is called mom. So the melting point of wax is 57 degrees Celsius. So when a candle is burning, it melts and the liquid melted wax fall down as droplet. Okay, so the melting point of wax is 57 degrees Celsius. I have written here. So before that, I again repeat what is melting point. Melting point is a temperature, particular temperature for that substance. The temperature at which, this is the temperature at which solid begins to melt. So melting point is a temperature. Melting point is a particular temperature for that substance. Melting point of wax is 57 degrees Celsius. Then melting point of water. Melting point of water is 0 degree Celsius. If you then water is 0 degree Celsius. When water becomes melted, then it transforms into liquid water. But even then, its temperature is 0 degree Celsius. Okay, so we get melting point. Melting point is a fixed temperature at which the solid begins or becomes to melt. Then boiling point, it is also a temperature. It is also a fixed temperature for any substance. Boiling point is the temperature at which liquid begins vaporize. Okay, the word vaporize, you can add here boil. Okay, so what is boiling point? Boiling point is also a temperature, the fixed temperature for any liquid or for any matter at which the matter or the liquid begins to vaporize. It's called the boiling point of that liquid. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So it is known by every student that what is the boiling point of water. So if you provide 100 degrees Celsius to any water, any liquid, not any liquid, only for water it is 100 degrees Celsius. So again I am repeating, the temperature at which liquid begins to vaporize or boils is called the boiling point of that liquid. Okay, then comes freezing point. freezing point, the temperature at which liquid begins solid. Liquid becomes solid is called the freezing point of that matter or of that liquid. Okay? So freezing point of water is 0 degree Celsius. Again I am repeating, freezing point is also a temperature. So the temperature at which liquid becomes solid. Freezing point is a temperature. So the temperature at which liquid becomes solid is called the freezing point of that liquid or matter. Okay? So freezing point of water is 0 degree Celsius. Again we have found here freezing point. So let's start from the beginning. What is melting point? Melting point is temperature at which solid begins to melt. So it is 57 degrees Celsius for wax, and for water it is 0 degrees Celsius. Then boiling point. Boiling point is the temperature at which liquid begins to vaporize. This is boiling point, and boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Then freezing point, the temperature at which liquid begins solid is called the freezing point of that matter or liquid. So freezing point of water is 0 degree Celsius. A note is for you. But before watching that note, I will draw your attention to the melting point and freezing point. So here I have written the melting point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. I also written here freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. How these two temperatures becomes the same? Okay, it is a question. Okay, to understand this question, the answer of this question, you have to pay your full attention to the board. Okay? For example, this is a ice. Okay? This is ice cream here I have drawn. So, when it started to melt, for example, this is a jar. So here the melted ice cream you will find. So it is ice cream. Ice cream, and this is a jar. Of water. So this is a jar of water which is full of water. So its temperature is 0 degree Celsius because it is ice cream. And when it is melting, it is transforming into water. But this water also, if you measure this water temperature, the temperature of this water, then you will get its temperature is 0 degrees Celsius because it is melting, and the melted ice is ice cool water. So here it is ice cool water. It is called ice cool water. Meaning is this water is very cool like ice. Okay? So ice cool water is also 0 degree Celsius. And that's why it is said that melting point and the freezing point of any substance or matter is same. So you have to memorize it by understanding this incidence. So the chapter is finished, but before finishing the chapter, I am repeating our today's topic. We have discussed about various points like melting point, boiling point, freezing point. Okay, all these points indicates specific temperature. The condition or state of matter depending on the temperature. Melting point is that temperature that shows at which temperature the substance or solid matter begins to melt. And previously I have said that all the solid would be melted if we provide there enough temperature. So melting point is the temperature at which solid begins to melt. So what is melting point? Melting point is the temperature at which solid begins to melt. Boiling point, it is also a fixed temperature for any substance. So boiling point is the temperature at which liquid begins to vaporize or boil. It's called boiling point of that liquid. Here I have given an example of water. So the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. It means if you add 100 degrees Celsius heat, then it will start to become vapor. Okay. Then I have written here freezing point. Freezing point, it refers a fixed temperature for any substance or liquid. The temperature at which liquid becomes solid is called the freezing point of that matter or liquid. Okay, and at the last of our discussion, we discussed about how melting point and freezing point of any substance is same. When solid started to melt, its temperature remained the same while it was solid. Okay? So we have discussed about water. When it is ice, so its temperature is 0 degrees Celsius as it is ice, and when we provide their heat, it becomes ice cooled water, and as it is ice cooled water, its temperature is also 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, so melting point of water and the freezing point of water is same. So students, I think you have understood what I have written here, what I have discussed about. So if you do not understand anything, then write me or make call or send me SMS. So this chapter is completed. Now we start another chapter. Our next chapter is mixture. So it is chapter 8 and its name mixture. Okay. So before going to the next chapter, I have to discuss about our chapter 7. So at the beginning of this chapter, we have read about the state of solid. Okay. Then we discussed about metal and non-metal. Okay. Then we discussed about conductor and insulator. Okay, and after that we discuss about various temperature, the condition of matter on various temperature. We discuss about some points: boiling point, then we discuss about melting point, then we discuss about freezing point. Okay, about this point. So all this discussion covers this chapter. So at the end of this chapter you will find some notes, okay, some definitions. So these definitions will help you to understand this chapter better. So it is page 57. Things we have learned in this chapter. Here we find a short note about this chapter. So read these notes well and revise your previous lessons again and again. Thank you.